When I was a little girl living in the Midlands, I used to say, "When I grow up, I want to be a boy." I even used to wee standing up. I loved playing football, but when I was about 7, my friends said I had to stop because I was a girl. I told them I didn't see what difference that made, and one of them pulled his shorts down and showed me. A sickening feeling washed over me. Something about me and my body was wrong. These feelings became more powerful as I grew older. When I saw my chest changing, I was horrified. I developed an eating disorder to try to delay puberty, cut my hair short, and started binding my chest. I was depressed and tried to kill myself. At 14, I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for a couple of months. My parents were stunned and tried to convince me to start embracing life as a woman. They arranged for someone to teach me how to apply makeup, hoping that if I learned to look more like other girls, I would feel more like them. It wasn't until I was 15 that I found out about transitioning. Everything fell into place. This was who I was. I realized I could have the body I wanted. When I went to my GP, age 17, I was told I was too old to refer to children's services and too young to be seen as an adult. I didn't get my first appointment until 3 months after my 18th birthday. After months of waiting and appointments, none of which included counseling, I finally started on testosterone gel, later switching to injections. It was a huge thing when, at university, my voice broke and my figure started changing. My hips narrowed, my shoulders broadened. It felt right. Passing as a man, I felt safer in public places. I was taken more seriously when I spoke, and I felt more confident. Then I had chest surgery. It was botched, and I was left with terrible scarring. I was traumatized. For the first time, I asked myself, what am I doing? I delayed the next steps of hysterectomy and lower surgery. After looking into phalloplasty and realizing that I was going to need an operation every 10 years to replace the erectile device. Trans issues were starting to be written about in the media, and I understood that people would always be able to recognize me as having transitioned. I just wanted to be male, but I was always going to be trans. At the same time, there was a significant change in how I felt about my gender. Reflecting on the difference in how I was treated when people saw me as a man, I realized other women were also held back by this. I had assumed the problem was in my body. Now I saw that it wasn't being female that was stopping me from being myself. It was society's perpetual oppression of women. Once I realized this, I gradually came to the conclusion that I had to detransition. I have come off testosterone and, as my body has resumed production of its own hormones, I have become someone female who looks like a man. I will always have a broken voice and will never regrow breasts, but my hips and thighs are getting bigger. Being male was more comfortable for me, but remaining on hormones means I would have continued to focus on my body as the problem when I don't believe it belongs there. What feels easiest isn't always what's right. I made the best possible decision in poisoned circumstances, and if I hadn't had treatment when I did, I might not be alive. But I do feel very sad when I think of my fertility. I want to be a parent one day, but it's likely that being on testosterone has made that more difficult. I'm now in my late 20s and won't know until I try to have children. I feel happy for those people transition has helped, but I think there should be more emphasis on counseling, and that it should be seen as the last resort. Had that been the case for me, I might not have transitioned. I was so focused on trying to change my gender, I never stopped to think about what gender meant. Ultimately, I feel hopeful for the future. I've seen that I have an immense capacity to change and grow, even in very difficult circumstances. That is who I am. You can visit us at swissministry.com